Hello everybody and welcome to another video on the EBL channel hosted by myself, PokePidge, your new favourite idiot. I am literally just back from the gym. It's Friday night, 7 PM my time, and I need to do some predictions before I go on and do a little bit of overtime for work. So we are literally just going to wing this. I'm going to look at the list, I'm going to say what's what, and we're going to wing it. So, first up, in Week 3 of EBL Season 6, we have the Texas Tyranitar versus the Carolina Garchomps. Both of them so far have made a good account of themselves. Let's not lie about that. They are both, I think they are both 1 for 1, he says, whilst checking the standings. I believe they're both 1 for 1 anyway. Yeah, both 1 for 1. Texas Tyranitar got a significant KD difference though. This matchup is going to be quite an interesting one. I'm not entirely sure who to go for. Like I've said in a previous predictions video, Newtbox Mr. Newty, he has, you can obviously see he's improved a hell of a lot doing that Scarlet Violet Wi-Fi series, has been fantastic. I put on a couple of those while I'm working. I can't really leave comments or anything because I have to subtly put it on my phone while, you know, people around me are like, oh, is he slacking? No, I'm just watching the video. But he seems to have learned a lot from it, and he's taken that across to EBL. So I think when we go to Season 7, he's going to be one to watch. And as for the Texas Tyranitar, coached by the Doorman, Alan, they have got better and better every single season. And it wouldn't be a surprise for me to see them go to the latter stages of the playoffs. Judging it week by week is going to be a difficult thing to do. However, it really, really is a tight one. I think if this battle were on Scarlet Violet in Season 7, the Carolina Garchomps would take it. However, this time I'm gonna go for the Texas Tyranitar. The only factor that I'm picking that on is the experience within the EBL format. That's the only factor that's picking it. If they'd both been in it from the same time, I wouldn't have been able to call this battle. But that's the only factor I'm putting in there, and the fact that the Galarian Zapdos is a big threat. You know, Max Knuckle, Max Airstream. It has the potential to do a lot of things. So that's what I'm going for on that one. The second battle we're going to talk about here is the New York Metas versus the Detroit Luxray. This, no offense to either of the coaches, but I think this one might be a little bit more easier to predict, and I am going to go for the New York Metas on that one, purely again because I think they've got the brain for this sort of battle. They've, as you saw in Week 2 against myself, they are very good at finding ways around things. He did a very good job for me against me in Week 2 in keeping that Ditto back because I needed the Ditto for the Zacian. He did a very good job with that. He knows how to work a certain situation to try and keep it in his favour, and I think this particular matchup is just going to be swayed. It will be a close battle, I think, again, but as all battles are this season, let's be honest. But I'm going to sway it towards the New York Metas. Now, even though Max and the Detroit Luxray have been pretty decent, you saw them against me in Week 1. They've proved they've got a lot going for them. A hell of a lot. And they cannot be ignored. They can't be ignored. So they have the capability to cause an upset 100%, but I don't think it will happen this time. And then moving on to the third match of Week 3. This one is exceptionally obvious. We've got the Snowdonian Frostmoth versus the Essex Espeons. Now this one, there's one clear winner with this one. I mean, let's face it. We all know who's going to be winning between Snowdonia and Essex, the Frostmoths and the Espeons. We know who's coming out on that. So I'm predicting a very easy victory for the Snowdonian Frostmoths on that one. Essex Espeons have not been at their best this season. They haven't won a single match yet. They haven't won a battle. They've got close, ish, but Snowdonian Frostmoths just look incredibly stronger. They just do. Week 1 they weren't quite on it, they weren't quite with it, didn't have time to prep the team, but Week 2 they've shown that they can absolutely slam one of the more favoured and stronger teams in the DC Starmies. So I think the Essex Espeons are going to be easy pickings for them. I think they're going to wipe the floor with them, and that's my prediction for Week 3. I hope it's different, but we'll see. Moving on to Florida Rowlets versus Walton Wingulls. Is this the week where the Walton Wingulls get their first ever victory in EBL? Or will the losing streak continue? They faced the Florida Rowlets last season, and I believe, was it 6-5 or 6-4? It was the closest match the Walton Wingulls have ever got. It was the closest they've ever got to winning. However, saying that, you cannot ignore that Groudon. You need to make sure you have a plan for that Groudon. You need to know what you're doing. You need to set up so you can get that thing out of there, because Mike and that Groudon, fantastic. Florida Rowlets and Groudon is a fantastic combination. It's exceptionally difficult to break down. So will the Walton Wingulls have enough to be able to break that down? It is going to be exceptionally tight. I think I'm swaying 51-49 in favour of the Rowlets, but I'm just thinking, you know, I'm going to have a quick look at the teams. Let me have a quick look at how the teams line up, and I'll do some filler talk. Oh, brilliantly, they're right next to each other. So, like, the Mewtwo, though, on Walton Wingulls, you got the... I'm talking about the Groudon from Florida Rowlets. They don't have Groudon. They don't have Groudon. They have Kyogre now on the Rain team. And I'm just looking at the Walton Wingulls team. Do you know what? No. I'm going for the Walton Wingulls on this one. I think they're going to get their first victory in EBL. I'm going to say it. Mewtwo with Thunderbolt. You've got the Alolan Raichu there that's going to outspeed the team. And I think the Klefki could even prove useful here. The Dubwool as well, that's going to come in quite handy. No, I'm going for it. I'm going to say Walton Wingulls getting their first victory, and that is no ill words to the Florida Rowlets at all. Not by any means. I just think this could be the time for the Wingulls. We shall see. Moving on to the final battle, DC Starmies versus San Antonio Espers. This has the makings for Battle of the Week, in my opinion. This has all the ingredients to be a classic 6-5. We've seen already that Sligo and the San Antonio Espers have very good knowledge in battling. They're very good at what they do. They got to the final last season, let's not forget. And they really do know what they're doing. However, so do the DC Starmies. They've been in this EBL since, I believe, Season 4. So this is their third season. And they have shown themselves to be quite a force, especially with the team that they've got now. So, they did take the loss last week to the Snowdonian Frostmoths, but I'm pretty sure they got the win the week before that. And they are currently standing at... I'm clicking the wrong things here to try and find their standings. They are 1-for-1 with a +1. So they have the potential here. It's very close in that Dynamax conference ranking, actually. I mean, San Antonio Espers are top, and they are 1-for-1 +2, and Starmies are 1-for-1 +1. So it's going to be a tight one. I can't really call that one. I genuinely don't think I can call it. I'm going to have to, though, because that's literally what this video is all about. So, what we're going to do... I have a coin. I have a 5p piece. For you Americans, this is worth so much, it's not. So, tails, it's DC. Heads, it's Sligo. And that is heads. It has landed on heads, so there you go. San Antonio Espers, coached by Sligo, are going to take the win here. But I'm going to predict it's going to be a 6-5 in a very close fought battle. Thus ends my predictions for Week 3 of EBL. Thank you for watching this one. Sorry it's been a bit rushed and a bit unprepped. It's been a busy week at work. Everything seems to have landed on the account I work on. It's great. But that's all. That's everything from me, and I shall see you again soon. Bye-bye.